Degrees multiply, but competence doesn't. If you score 95%, you're intelligent. If you score 60%, you're average. And if you score anything lesser than that, you're branded as a failure. So India, the world's most populated country, produces millions of graduates every single year. Yet, many of them struggle to compete globally, and not just in jobs, but in life itself. So we as Indians have been told one story for decades. Study hard, get a degree, and your life is set. And India's followed that formula better than almost anyone else. Engineering colleges everywhere, MBA programs booming, coaching centers on every single street, and degrees being stacked like medals. But here is the uncomfortable question. If Indians have so many degrees, why are they still behind in skills? And not just professional skills, life skills. For example, that of confidence, of independence, and of adaptability. And in this video, we're going to unpack why India became a degree powerhouse, but still a skill underperformer, and how this affects India's global competitiveness. And by the end, you'll see that this isn't just about education. It's about mindset, it's about culture, and it's about how India defines success. So India produces over 1.5 million engineers every single year. Add doctors, MBAs, commerce graduates, arts graduates, these numbers are absolutely massive. So on paper, it looks extremely powerful. A young country, a huge workforce, and an endless talent. But here's the gap. Multiple employability reports over the years show that a large percentage of graduates are not considered job ready. In some technical fields, less than half of them meet industry standards. Companies say it, recruiters say it, and even graduates admit it. But it's bigger than just companies complaining. When Indian graduates compete with foreign graduates in global firms, international universities, startup ecosystems, many struggle to match the practical ability and confidence. But the question is, why? From childhood, the system sends one clear message. Marks matter more than mastery. School becomes a race, college becomes a checkpoint, and entrance exams become war zones. Students are trained to memorize information, solve predictable problems, finish within time limits, and avoid mistakes. If you score 95%, you're intelligent. If you score 60%, you're average. And if you score anything lesser than that, you're branded as a failure. But real life doesn't really work like that. In real life, problems are unclear. There is no model answer. Time limits don't really come with warning bells. And sometimes the question itself is wrong. Yet, India's education system rarely trains students to think independently, challenge ideas, build original solutions, and learn by doing. The education system only works on training a student's memory muscles while neglecting their more important problem-solving muscles. Let's talk about coaching centers. So entire teenage years are spent preparing for engineering entrance exams, medical entrance exams, MBA entrance exams, government jobs. And for these, students solve thousands of mock questions. They become extremely fast, they become extremely accurate, and they become absolute exam machines. But here's the issue. They're solving questions that already have answers. Real skill grows when you face problems without clear solution. Coaching teaches us pattern recognition, speed tricks, and formula application. It rarely teaches us aspects like collaboration, negotiation, leadership, and real-world decision-making. So when students enter real-life workplaces, they're shocked because they don't have an answer key that they're trained for. Now let's zoom out. In many Western countries, students work part-time from 16, they manage their own money, they move out at 18, they cook, clean, and travel alone, they join sports team, they debate teachers openly, and they participate in clubs and student government. Turns out I didn't even have enough fingers on one hand to count all of them. And by graduation, therefore, they're not just degree holders, they're absolutely independent adults. Now let's look at most Indian students. Many never work part-time. Financial decisions are handled by parents. Living at home continues into late 20s, maybe even early 30s. Sports often take a backseat to exams. Questioning authority is discouraged, and career choices are influenced by family pressure. And once again, I did not have enough fingers on one hand to count all of them. And this isn't just about intelligence, because as far as I know, Indian students are some of the most intelligent and hardworking people. But the fact is that Western students are trained differently. One system prioritizes independence early, but the other system prioritizes academic achievement first. When these two systems meet globally, the difference is clearly visible. Let's talk about something else we rarely discuss: life skills. In many countries, teenagers already know how to budget their money, fix small things at home, cook basic meals, navigate some unfamiliar cities, handle some difficult conversations, camp outdoors, and play organized sports seriously. I'm not going to make the finger joke again. But in India, many students spend their youth inside coaching centers and classrooms. Academic pressure replaces exploration, hobbies become luxuries, and outdoor skills become extremely irrelevant. Skill isn't just about coding or finance, even though that is extremely important to know. But skill is confidence in unfamiliar situations, comfort outside your comfort zone, decision making without supervision, and handling failure without emotional collapse. If you grow up shielded from risk or discomfort, those muscles don't develop. In many Indian families, love equals protection. Parents do everything: cook, clean, plan, and decide. This intention is absolutely beautiful. But what is the side effect? The side effect is delayed independence. When students never manage their own life, they don't build self reliance. And in many Western households, teenagers start to earn money early, they start to make mistakes early, and they start to face consequences for those mistakes early. So failure kind of becomes like a feedback. And in India, failure is branded as shame. And when failure is branded as shameful, experimentation dies. And without experimentation, skill cannot grow. Let's take an example and look at some countries like the US, Australia, Germany, for example, me being here in Canada. Sport is serious, school teams matter, college athletes are respected, and physical training is extremely structured. Sports teach us discipline, teamwork, emotional control, leadership, handling loss, and performing under pressure. In India, unless you're bound to go professional, sports is often considered secondary, maybe even taboo in some communities. Board exams tend to matter a lot more than fitness, but physical challenge builds mental toughness, and without it, confidence under pressure will weaken. In my next section of, maybe some of you can call it a rant, I'm going to look at Indian colleges, which heavily focus on theory. Students learn definitions, they memorize frameworks, they write long exams, but the problem is real exposure is limited. In some institutions, labs are extremely outdated, industry connections are weak, internships are optional, guest lectures are rare, and knowledge stays in notebooks. But what people don't understand is that skill requires application. A mechanical engineering student, for example, may know a lot of thermodynamics, but they might struggle to build something practical. A business student, for example, may know marketing theory, but they might struggle to pitch a real product. This gap creates frustration. Over the last 2 decades, India has seen an explosive growth in private colleges. More seats, more admissions, more degrees. But has the quality always kept up with this? Some institutions focus more on enrollment than on excellence, and of course we know why. But when education becomes volume-based, skill has to suffer. Degrees multiply, but competence doesn't. So in this huge rant of mine, my last major factor is communication. Many Indian graduates are technically strong, but they struggle with public speaking, presenting ideas clearly, writing professional emails, and confidently participating in discussions. In global settings, communication matters as much as competence. If you cannot explain your ideas to people, people assume that you don't have one. Soft skills are not soft, they are actually power skills, yet many curriculums barely train them. Here's the uncomfortable truth: India does not lack talent. Of course, that's why a show like India's Got Talent exists. Anyways, what India lacks is skill focused training and independent exposure. We celebrate things like marks, ranks, college names, and degrees, but we rarely tend to celebrate projects built, businesses started, problems solved, and even skills demonstrated. A degree simply proves that you've completed a syllabus, but a skill proves that you can deliver value. The world rewards value, not certificates. And here's the hopeful part: when Indian graduates go abroad or join strong ecosystems, they often catch up quickly. Why? Because the raw intelligence and work ethic are strong, the potential is massive, and the exposure has simply come in late. Take me as your biggest example. And we can now see things slowly changing. Online learning platforms are growing, internship culture is improving, startup ecosystems are expanding, skill based boot camps are rising, and parents are slowly becoming more open. So the shift has started and it's moving in the right direction. But here's what needs to change: students need to stop waiting for college to build skills. In today's world, you can learn almost anything online. You can start to build projects, you can start your own small businesses, you can join some clubs, you can start playing sports seriously, you can start traveling alone, you can start to handle your own finances, you can start to fail early. And colleges need stronger industry integration, more project based learning, mandatory internships, and skill-based grading. Parents also need to shift their mindset and question from what rank did you get to what can you build. Companies need to invest in training rather than expecting perfection from fresh graduates. And society needs to respect the vocational skills, for example, those of electricians, technicians, craft workers, and others. Now, skill is not inferior to a degree, it's usually more powerful. Just imagine an India where students graduate with portfolios and not just mark sheets. Sports and fitness are valued, part time work is extremely normal, failure is treated as learning, communication is trained early, and independence is encouraged. That India would not just produce graduates, it would produce capable human beings, and capable human beings can compete anywhere in the world. India became a degree factory because degrees felt safe. They brought respect, stability, and social approval. But the world has now changed. Today, adaptability beats memorization, skill beats status, confidence beats certificates. And India does not need fewer degrees, it just needs stronger skills, stronger independence, and stronger real world exposure. Because a certificate might only open a door, but only a skill can keep you inside a room. You should go ahead and watch this next video to actually learn how to build skills that can make you globally competitive.